Hey guys, Jay here. So some of you guys might know that my Summoner's War cosplay didn't work out. I put out another video for it. If you guys want to see that, there will be a link in the description, probably a card at the top of the screen or something to take you to that video if you really want to see it and learn more of what happened with that. But in replacement for that, I decided I might as well just do something I already have instead of making something completely new. So in that video and my SoccerCon video, I talked about doing Cloud instead. And that's really because I already have an entire Cloud cosplay. My most recent one is the Dissidia version, which I probably have a picture of right here or something. So I'm going to be doing that cosplay, but there's going to be some changes. If you notice in that one, I also had this armor. So this is the armored, this is hard to get in shot. This is the armor that I made for that cosplay. It is not accurate, and as you can see, I've taken the buckles out already, and it's not even colored on the bottom. So this is really bad. It's not badly made, and it's really sturdy, but it's not good either. It works and passes for Cloud's armor, but it could be way better. This was the very first item I ever made out of EVA foam. So what did I do? I went and made another one. In fact, I made two. To start out with, I made Cloud's remake armor. This just doesn't have the screws in it. I have them, but they're not in it. You can see where the holes are. That's where they're gonna go. And I even scratched it up and everything. This is pretty much one for one as good as I could get from the screenshots that I could find, except for the back. I just kind of did my own. But this armor is for the Final Fantasy VII Remake. What I was planning to do was make it so I could interchange from Dissidia to Final Fantasy VII Remake, but I'd forgotten that the remake uses a different belt style for the harness thing, so I decided against that. It's very close, it's just not the same thing. The ones that were in Dissidia are like a centerpiece, and then there's a piece that wraps around the body like a belt, and then it's all connected by another belt that's holding it all together. So, in fact, I can explain this right here. So this is Cloud's harness from Dissidia. You can see it's two separate pieces here. This piece that wraps around, and then a front piece connected by another belt. In Final Fantasy VII, the remake, they used the belt that they used in Crisis Core, where it's just a full one-piece belt that connects in the back with buckles. So this is not accurate to that. Anyway, so this would have went up here like this. I have to hold it or it'll fall. Yeah, so that's the armor that I had made before. Just so you guys can see it, this is the Final Fantasy VII Remake armor. Anyway, back to the point of this video. So what I did was I used that pattern because the other patterns didn't work, and I made a bunch of mock-ups. There were just different things. And I've made like, there's one over there too, where I've just put everything else. I've made like 7 mock-ups because I was trying and trying and trying, and I couldn't get it right. Well, I finally got one right, and I want to show it off to you guys. Also, the arm bracer thing that I'm wearing in that picture I showed, this one, I'm reusing that, and I weathered it and colored it better to it just looks a lot better now. I haven't dry brushed it with silver yet, because it's still drying from the black wash that I put on it, which is where you dirty it up and make it all grimy. But the armor, the shoulder pad armor, was dry, so I was able to dry brush it, or dry enough to dry brush. It's still kind of tacky, and I have to let it sit overnight to be 100%. So I'm gonna just show you it on the table. I'm not gonna take it off of the table. I might like lift it up a little bit or something, but there's still partially wet pieces on it. So right here we have the piece of armor that goes on the shoulder. It might be a little bit hard to see. I have like all these lights on it and stuff. I don't know if there's a better way to do this. Oh, it is pretty dry actually. Pretty hard to see. So there we go, that's even better. Oh, that's a lot better. So you can see I put like all the dry brushing on it, made it look really weathered. So I'm gonna tell you basically like how I did this too. Oh, the black is still, this black here is still wet, so I do gotta watch out for that. I just got it on my hands. So I'm gonna tell you kind of just how I did the weathering on this. Black washing and dry brushing I've done in other videos, so I don't know how much I really need to tell you there, but I guess I can tell you again. So with the black washing, I have this mix of, I put a silver brush in there to kind of wash it off a little bit with black. So it's got some silver in there, but that was after I used it. So, but you put acrylic paint and water. You water it down really, really well. and then it gets into the cracks. So you can see that these cracks are a lot more prominent than they probably would be if I didn't do that. So that's what blackwashing does, and you can see like in these pieces, it makes it easier to see, and you know, just awesome stuff like that. And then dry brushing is when you take a brush and then you wipe most of the paint off of it, and then you just lightly brush the edges. So that's what, and that dries like that in an instant. That doesn't take almost any time at all to dry. Maybe a minute or two, because it's so light of a coat. And then you'll get this look where it looks like metal that's been like handled a lot, which is what this is. He literally goes to battle with this thing. So it's metal that's been handled a lot. So there we go. And here's the back side. This is what will be on my back. This is what you'll see from my front. So yeah, I just thought that would be cool to show you guys. And then I didn't think the screws were gonna come out as good as they did, but they did. So like, I don't know if I can get you a really good look at these, but yeah, right there, look at that. This one right here, that's a really good, yeah, wow. I'm actually quite amazed. This is like the best I've done so far, so that says a lot. So this, I think this is dry now. Yeah, it seems like it's dry now. It's been quite a few minutes. So move this off to the side a little bit. And then, so this is the arm bracer. Now, as you can see, it's a lot darker. I used the same gray that I did on here. I covered that in that gray. Originally, it was just silver, and then I just dirtied the silver really poorly because I didn't know what I was doing at the time. And I used that same, this is the side you're gonna see. This side that has the, where like you can see where the piece is connected at poorly. Those are gonna be the underside of my arm, so you can't see them. So you'll see this side mostly. And when I was making this, the plastic, it bubbled and it pissed me off, and I couldn't do anything about it. So that's when I decided to make it damaged. Well, worn, weathered. I tried to do that with the other one. It didn't come out nearly as good as the other armor, but it still worked for what I had. But I used the black wash all over the crevices, and then I just painted black inside here. And that's basically all I did. And then, I did black around the outsides here, and then kind of wiped it a little bit. But that's about it. Also, these should be screws, but I don't have anything that sized that are screws, and they're expensive. So the screws that I used for the other ones are, oh, I wish I still had some. Basically, not with this gray thing on here. This gray thing was going to be my substitute for the hex nuts before I figured out how to make those. But like this, basically, was what I used. On the armor, this is actually pressed up against the bottom of it. It's just covered. These ones I cut because I was originally going to use these, and then they were going to stick out. They were going to stick out like that, but I decided against it. So yeah, I thought I would just tell you guys about my armor and what I did to it. And for spray paint, I used basically this kind of spray paint. I don't have it up here, but this is a gloss white of the same stuff. But I got metallics. I got a dark gray, obviously, and a silver. So this, but in those colors. There's only one of each color. They don't have like multiple silvers in this brand, or well, this style. But see how it has this trigger on top? These are the kinds I used. They are way better. They're my favorite kind, next to the Krylon Color Max or whatever it is, or Color Fusion or whatever the heck you call that, that has the red spray nozzle. So anyway, I used those two, and then just black acrylic paint. I just used this thing of black. And then for dry brushing, I used this Folk Art Silver. This is my favorite silver, okay? This is the best silver I've ever used, and it's sterling silver. So look for that one if you want to get some really good silver. This literally looks like the best I've ever seen. Okay, so before we finish the video, I actually have an update. This is a couple of hours later. I did end up weathering this, as you can see. a lot more than it was anyway. So this already had a black wash on it, but I decided to dry brush silver on it, which I was going to anyway. I just didn't at the time of the video. So now that I have, and I haven't uploaded the video yet, might as well show you guys what I did, so you guys can kind of see what it looks like. So I just did dry brushing along the edge here, like both edges going both ways, and then the edges going down this way and back this way. So that's all I did, and well, obviously these two sides too, but that's all I really did. I did it up here on these knob things. I did the tops, but I did one side and not the other, and you cannot tell. So I just didn't care to do the other, because you can't see it anyway, so there's really no point in really caring to do that. It's so subtle you can't even tell. So, not gonna bother. Anyway, now it's the end of the video. So if you like it, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, maybe subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys later.